folks, listen. If you're new to the channel and you want to watch my videos, make sure you go to the live section of this channel because that's where all my recent videos are. The live section of this channel. So watch the last 4 or 5 months of my videos to get caught up on what I am predicting, okay, and what's about to happen in America. Now listen, which is going to affect the whole world. But listen, uh, understand something. This video, okay, and I'm going to be showing this Tupac information, okay, and who cares about Tupac, right? It's not, you got the reason that this supposed death happened of Tupac was a ritual for Elvis, okay, because it connects to where Elvis was born, Tupac. But before I show you the incredible Tupac info, for you to understand why everything is about Elvis Presley, okay? Everything has to do with Elvis because Elvis is the real Antichrist and Trump is the image of Elvis, okay? Trump is the Antichrist in the flesh, but Elvis is the real Antichrist because they're copying God. Because when Jesus was walking the earth as God in the flesh, God was still in heaven as the Father, okay? And that's why Jesus said, I and the Father are one, because that's why Jesus was crucified and he rose from the dead. And that's what's gonna happen to Trump on August 4th. He's gonna get a deadly head wound and he's gonna rise from the dead, but it's gonna be counterfeit, obviously, because they're copying what God did. All right, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, these three, it's one God on that throne, okay, in heaven. But they manifest as three, okay, but it's only one God on that throne. And that's what they're copying, that Trump is playing God in the flesh while Elvis is playing God in heaven, okay? Now, and my other prediction is that on June 11th, you are going to see the biblical beast out of the sea event, okay? On June 11th in Washington State. Now that you know my two predictions, let me lay the groundwork for the Tupac video. The Tupac information. You have to watch the groundwork to understand I'm laying a foundation, okay? And like I said, just hold on and you're going to get to the Tupac information and why he supposedly had to die. Okay? Now and remember folks, make sure you thumb up the video and comment under the video after the video is processed by YouTube, okay? Now, so let's get into it here. This is the foundation for it, okay? And most of you have already seen this on my channel, but just watch and be amazed. Okay, so Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth. And by the way, that's how his name was spelled on the gravestone. So Jesse supposedly died at birth, okay? So the birth of the identical twins, okay, was on 1/8. There was two of them born on January 8th, 1818. And in the UK, they say the date backwards. They put the day first, then the month, 8181. And when you add that up, it's 216 or 16-2, which exactly my predictions. August 4th is the 216th day of the year when Trump gets his head wound, and the 162nd day of the year is June 11th, the day the Beast Out of the Sea event happens, the biblical Beast Out of the Sea event in Washington State, okay? And so everything's about the 216, 16-2. And it just so happens identical twins equals 162, and backwards it equals 216 in gematria. You see, that's June 11th, 162 day of the year, and August 4th is the 216th day of the year. And for the people who don't know, the letter O, when you add it to a word or to a sentence, it makes such a big difference because it's a crown, it's a portal, it's a face, a head, a womb, okay? But really it's just basically a crown and a portal. Okay, so you put the letter O on January 8th, because that's the date Elvis was born, January 8th, with an H, with the crown, the letter O. Look what it equals, 162 216 backwards. That's June 11th and August 4th again. Okay? I'm just showing you, I'm laying the groundwork for what I'm about to show with the Tupac video. And the first two presidents that were assassinated were the 16th and the 20th president. There's your 162 with a crown and 216 with a crown. That's June 11th and August 4th. Okay? And where was Elvis born and where did he die? He died in the 16th state and he was born in the 20th state. There's that 216 with a crown and 162 with a crown. Everything's about 216 and 16-2. That's why Trump was elected in 2016, you know? Anyway, and Elvis, he died on 8/16 at the age of 42. 8/16 military time, if you go to the PM hour, it's 2016. There it is again with the 216 and 1620. You know, just like 1620 on the clock would be 420, which would connect to Elvis's age when he died at the age of 42. And he died on 8/16, and 8/16 is 2016 on military time. Backwards, it would be like 1620, you know, instead of 2016, 1620, you know. So again, it's all connected, you know. Okay. And just to add, you know, to it, the military time, the 16th hour is 4 o'clock, the 20th hour is 8 o'clock, which again connects to 8/4, and you have the 162 and the 216 with a crown. See, everything connects to each other. 1620, 2016, or the 216, 16-2. And even from Elvis's birthday to June 14th, Trump's birthday, it's 1620 days on a leap year. If you went forward, you know, there it is again, the 1620, 2016. And you know, Elvis, he died on 8/16, and Trump's gonna get a head wound on August 4th, a deadly head wound, which he's gonna survive. Okay, and he's gonna like come back from the dead, basically. If you add those days up, it's 1620 and 2016 again. You see what I mean? Okay, everything's about the 216, 16-2. See that? 216s, you see it? From Elvis's birthday, if you went forward 1,616 days, it lands on June 11th, the day Washington State gets struck. 216s, get it? 16-2, 216. All right. Now, when was Elvis born? He was born in the year 1935. It just so happens 1935 is the only year in all of the 1900s that equals 216 with prime numbers, because the 19th prime is 67, the 35th prime is 149. Add that up, it's 216. So the only year that this can happen in the 1900s, and that's the year Elvis was born. And why is that so important, the 216? Because it's August 4th, right? 4th is the 216th day, and June 11th is the 16-2 day, right? 162, 216, and 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. And Elvis Aaron Presley, his full name, equals 216. When you just add up the letters to what it is in the alphabet, you get 216. Okay? Like I said, these are not coincidences, you know? And just real quick, I want to go back to this one. So remember, I told you that Elvis's death date with Trump's death date, August 4th, is connected to each other, okay? And it's 1620, 2016, right? But the reason I'm showing that is because August 16th, the day he died, is the 228th day of the year, and it just so happens that when you put the words 216, it equals 228, and look, the reduced number is 84. There's August 16th and August 4th in there. See, August 16th is the 228th day of the year when Elvis died, and August 4th is the 216th day of the year. If you wrote 216, it equals 228, which is August 16th, the 228th day of the year. And then you have 84 there also, you see? And remember, everything's about a crown. So if I were to put a crown on 216, this is the only number when putting a crown on it that does this. Okay? So if you were to put a crown, the letter O, on 216, this is the first number and the only number that does this. When I'm saying when you put a crown on it. Okay? We're talking about a crown. And when adding a crown, this is the first number that does this and the only one. Okay? Look at that. Look how perfect that is. And remember, 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. All right? That's why August 4th is such an important number, you know. And then you have this connection with 2016, 1620, which is the POTUS, you know, President of the United States, POTUS. You have Trump, Obama, Presley. You see that? Their last names. The top, the POTUS. It'd be 16, 20, 2016. The O can be 0 to hero, get it? And it just so happens, you know, that Lucifer, there's a show called Lucifer who's played by Tom Ellis. Sounds like Elvis, and Thomas means twins. His name is Thomas Ellis. Ellis sounds like Elvis, and he played Lucifer on the show. From Elvis's birth to Lucifer's birth, his exact birth, look at that, 1620, 2016 with a crown. You see? You know, same thing as the POTUS, T-O-P. You have 216 with 00. You know, 216, 162. June 11th, August 4th. You see, with 2 crowns there. And now we're going to get to, we're coming up to the, this has to do with the Tupac stuff. But right now, I'm still on the 216 stuff for Elvis. Okay? So, Tupelo is where Elvis and his identical twin were born. Okay? And so, see the word Tupelo? So you have 2. T-U sounds like the number 2. P is the 16th letter. So there's your 16-2, 216. You understand? June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. August 4th, 216th day of the year. E-L means God in Hebrew. And you have the O, which is a crown, a portal, a womb, a matrix, a head, a face, a ring, an egg, whatever. Okay? It's all of the above and even more stuff. But the O mainly is a portal or a crown. Okay, 216, 16, 2, and that's where Elvis and his identical twin were born, Tupelo. Now, just to, like I said, just to keep going to make you understand how important this is, Elvis, there was a halftime show during the Super Bowl that had an Elvis impersonator. The whole halftime was about this Elvis impersonator. And I'm not going to get into his name right now, but he had the initials AC, which is Antichrist, okay? His name was Alex Cole. But look, so 49ers won that Super Bowl. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 is a 666 connection. And the 49ers, they won and beat the Bengals, who play in Ohio. And Ohio is where Trump's going to get his head wound. But anyway, you have the 216, 16-2 with a crown. You're telling me that the one time, this is the only time in Super Bowl history where the score was 20-16, and that was the Elvis impersonator halftime show? You understand how impossible this is? I just showed you all the connections to Elvis with the 216, 16-2 or 2016, 16-20, which of course equals 36, 20 plus 16. 4 times 9 equals 30. And that's my birthday, by the way, 9/4, September 4th. But look, 2016, 16-20, Elvis impersonator, the only time in Super Bowl history. Okay? And who's the quarterback for that team that won? Look at this, Joe Montana. 108 he equals. That's Elvis's birthday, was 108. He was born. And look, 162 backwards and 216 even in there. You see all the connections? And look, you have 36 with a crown, if you look at the numbers. But what's really important about him being the quarterback, the day they won the Elvis time Super Bowl with that incredible score, Joe Montana, that quarterback, was born on June 11th. The day I'm telling you Washington State is going to be struck. Okay? And what do they win when they win? They win the Super Bowl trophy. Okay? And what is the Super Bowl trophy called? The Vince Lombardi trophy. Vince Lombardi is born on June 11th. Okay? So when they win that, whenever they win a Super Bowl, they're winning the June 11th. That's what they're winning. Do you understand? That's the trophy, the jackpot. That's what they're telling you. Okay? And where do the 49ers play? They play at Levi Stadium. But back then it wasn't called Levi Stadium. But now it's called Levi Stadium. And Levi's is Elvis, okay? And I can show you all the connections with the Levi's, but I'm not going to do that here. Levi Stadium, that's where next year's Super Bowl is. The one that's coming up in February of next year is at Levi Stadium. This is a huge thing, folks. That's why you already have a controversy with this idiot Bad Bunny. Okay? Now, the very next Super Bowl after this one, the one where, that the 49ers won, the Elvis impersonator Super Bowl, okay? The next Super Bowl, the very next year, was the year Elvis turned 90. I mean, the next year after the Elvis impersonator Super Bowl, Elvis turned 55 in the year 90 because the Elvis impersonator Super Bowl was in 89. Satan equals 55. So the year Elvis turned 55, okay, when he turned Satan's age in 1990, let me tell you what happened, okay? That year, okay, the Super Bowl score was 55-10, the year Elvis turned Satan. Okay, do you understand how impossible this is? Back to back, incredible connections with the 49ers winning again. And you're telling me that the score was 55-10 and Satan equals 55-10, and that's the year Elvis turned 55? The year that the Super Bowl score was Satan? I mean, do you understand how impossible this is? When you look at what I just showed with the Vince Lombardi trophy being 6/11, because his birthday, and Joe Montana being born on 6/11, and the score of that game, And by the way, the year I revealed Elvis was the Antichrist, I was exactly 55 years old on that day, because I was born on September 4th. And on that day, I was 55 years old. I had no idea, okay, that day, because the reason I even remember the day was because it was one day before my birthday, okay? And if you remember, the very first thing I showed in this video, let me show that real quick. The very first thing I showed. You remember this puzzle? I mean, this bit of info about the birth of the identical twins? Look, I live in the 818 area code, and when you dial, you got to dial 1, so it's 1818. Look at that. That's when they were born, the twins, 1818. I live in that area code, man. Do you understand? Do you understand how incredible this is? Okay. Now, let me end this video. Not end it. I mean, I'm almost done. Just give me one more second here. My hand went numb. Hold on. I was holding the phone. All right. Make sure you guys thumb up the video and make sure you comment. All right. And I got this many cards to show. It's only 6 more cards, and then I'm gonna get to the Tupac stuff. Okay. Then you're gonna see how perfect it is. It's literally impossible that it's not connected to this Elvis Trump puzzle. All right. The reason that they supposedly got rid of Tupac was for Elvis and this. It's just a ritual. Okay. Now, just give me a minute for my hand to come back. We got numb. All right, here we go. Makes anyone who came in late, you got to watch from the beginning, okay? That way you can, because I'm laying the groundwork for the Tupac connection. All right, now, What does, give me a second here. What does Satan need? What does Satan need to get to, because Satan equals 55. So if he needs the 666, as the Bible says, what would he need? What would Satan need? He would need 611. 611 plus Satan, 55, equals 666. So do you understand? So Washington State, the Washington State B-Side of the Sea event is on June 11th, 611. 611 plus 55 is 666. So Satan needs that 666. And it just so happens that's the exact amount of days in between my two predictions. Trump getting his head wound on August 4th, and the Washington State B-Side of the Sea event is on June 11th. If you add the day, if on the calculator from 611 to 84, it's 55 days when you add the day. That's Satan. And it just so happens August 4th is the 6 times 6 times 6 day of the year, which equals 216. Okay? Do you understand? So you see how perfect that is? Because 611 plus 55 is 666. So it needs that 666 connection with August 4th and Satan. Okay? Are you understanding what I'm showing you? Okay? And don't forget, Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. You know? And you know, Elvis, he was born on 1/8, which looks like 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. Kind of looks like 18, right? And 1 through 8 equals 36. And 1 through 36 equals 666. You see that? If you add up all the numbers between 1 through 8, which is Elvis's birthday, 1/8, is 36. And then if you add up 1 through 36, it's 666. So that's why this number equation is connected to the 666, right? And it just so happens that from Elvis's birthday to June 11th, when you add the day, it's 155 days. Okay? And if you were to write out 155, it is the first number in gematria that equals 216. If you just add up the letters to what it is in the alphabet, it will add up to 216, each letter here. It's the first number that equals 216, and that's August 4th. So you connect June 11th to August 4th with that 155. Okay? All it needs is a crown, because you know what did Satan equal? 55 and 10. Look at that. 5, 5. All it needs is a 0 to get so once this hits, you'll get the portal, the crown. It'll be 55-10. You get what I'm saying? It just needs that the crown on that day. Okay? And Satan equals 55-10. That's why I'm saying that. Anyway, so here's the last thing I'm going to show with this before I show you the Tupac stuff. So look at this. So you know I told you Satan equals 55. So this is the totals. 55 and the reduced number is 10. And backwards it's 80 and 35. And you know when Elvis was born? 1/8/35. He was born on 1/8 in the year 35. So Satan plus Elvis's birthday, you have the two crowns, okay, because there was two of them born on that day, 1/8/35. And look what the totals are for those. You have the 65 and the 115, but look at the numbers. 5, 5, which is Satan, and what's left? 6, 11. There it is again. See? There it is again with Satan. Now you understand? It's literally right in your face, okay? Is there anyone here who completely understands this? All right? And like what I'm saying is, do you understand that this is impossible coincidences? Okay? Now I'm going to get to the Tupac stuff. So I did all that. Are we still here? Is everything okay still? All right, I just want to make sure that we're still in the video, because sometimes the phone starts glitching. All right. All right. And for the people in the watching, and you're looking at the live stream chat and you notice that people aren't commenting, it's because I have the worst viewers on YouTube. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Because when my predictions happen, all the people will be coming to this channel in flocks. Okay? Flock. But I don't care. I don't care about subscriber counts. I don't care about that stuff. I'm just here to tell you guys what God revealed to me, and since 2016, okay? You'll understand if you watch my videos. Anyway, so don't pay attention to the fact that nobody's commenting. Make sure you thumb up this video and make sure you comment once the video's processed, okay? Now, let's get to the Tupac info. Undeniable that Tupac was supposedly killed for Elvis and this Elvis Trump puzzle. Now you're going to see it. Undeniable, okay? Get ready. Here we go. So where was Elvis born? He was born in Tupelo, Mississippi. Okay? Tupelo. And by the way, he died in Memphis, Tennessee. Same initials, MT, TM. TM equals 33, MT equals 33. And his tomb is MT. Get it? Elvis lives. His anagram, get it? Lives, Levi's, lives, like the Black Lives Matter. That's what it's all about. Okay? That's why Elvis's name was everywhere across the earth with that Black Lives stuff. Okay? Elvis is the black star. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. So Tupelo is where Elvis and his identical twin were born, right? Now, what is this Tupelo all about? I explained it earlier. The TU2 is the number 2. P is a 16 because August 4th is the 216th day of the year. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. 16, 2, 216. There was 2 of them born that day. Okay, and EL means God, and the O, like I said, what it represents, the crown or a portal, and a few other things. So that's what this Tupelo is all about. Now watch as we connect it. So Tupac, right? It starts with the Tupelo, the TUP. And what's left is the AC. What is that? AC is Antichrist. Not Tupac, but Elvis. They're telling you that, do you understand? Look what you're seeing. You're seeing Tupelo, which is EL, means God, and the O is a crown, and Tupac has the rest of it, which is the AC, the Antichrist. So you have God, crown, Antichrist. All right? You understand? That's what you're seeing here. Okay? Now, what was Tupac doing? Okay, watch. Let me, this way you guys can see I'm not just making it up. Let's ask, what club was Tupac headed to when he was shot?
Tupac was headed to Club 662, a nightclub owned by Suge Knight, when he was shot in Las Vegas. He was in a black BMW after a Mike Tyson boxing match when a white Cadillac opened fire.
Did you hear that? Mike Tyson! It's got the sun in it. But anyway, forget that. Mike Tyson, MT, like Memphis, Tennessee, and Tupelo, Mississippi. Okay? MT, TM. I told you TM equals 33, like Tupelo, Mississippi. So, and what let me do it again. Hold on. What club was Tupac headed to when he was shot?
Tupac was headed to Club 662.
662. 662. Okay? Now watch. Club 662, folks. Give me a second. Club 662. Okay? Why is that important? Tupac. Because Tupelo's area code is 662. Do you understand how impossible this is? Okay? And by the way, the word twin equals 66, and there was 2 of them born that day in Tupelo, Elvis and his twin. And that's why from Elvis's birthday to the day that 9/11 fell, the Twin Towers fell, was 66 years, 8 months, 4 days. You see how it's all connected? Anyway, I'm not going to get into those connections. I just want to concentrate on this. So the night Tupac was killed, he was headed to Club 662. Tupelo's area code is 662, where Elvis and his identical twin were born. Okay? Now, look at this. So Tupelo area code is 662. The words "the Antichrist" equals 154. And Elvis died on 8/16. How does this connect? Look. Tupelo's area code is 662. The Antichrist equals 154. And what is the total? 8/16. And that's the day Elvis died. So the only area code connecting to the Antichrist, because the Antichrist equals 154 if you just add up the letters to what it is in the alphabet. So the only place that can connect to Elvis's death date 8/16 with the Antichrist would be Tupelo's area code 662. Okay? You see that? You hear that weird noise? That's from some stupid car outside. But anyway, it's all about 8. You see how it's connected to the 8/16 and the Antichrist? Okay? And it just so happens that from Elvis's birth to Tupac's death, it was exactly 61 years and 8 months exactly when you add the day. And look at that number. It's like 8/16. Look, see? 61 years, 8 months. See that? 8/16, 8/16 backwards. From Elvis's birth to the day Tupac died. Okay? And let me just a second here. So what was Tupac's last words to a particular cop? Hold on. What was Tupac's last words to police officer Christopher?
Tupac Shakur's last words, according to the first officer on the scene, Chris Carroll, were F******.
So, man, what were the last words that Tupac said to police officer Christopher Carroll?
Tupac Shakur's last words to Officer Christopher Carroll were F*******U. According to Carroll himself, Carroll, the first officer on the scene after the shooting, said he asked Tupac who shot him, and Tupac responded with those words before losing consciousness.
So his name was CC, which is 33, like the 33. Christopher, Christ. He's got the Christ in his name. I told you he loved to mock God. So the last person that Tupac talked to was a cop, and he was telling a guy named Christopher to F you. You see what I mean? It's got the Christ in it and CC, and you know that Jesus was crucified and rose from the dead at 33. That's what they say. Now, nobody can prove that, but I'm just going to go by what the biblical scholars say, you know. But CC 33, and his name is Christ. You understand? Okay? They're mocking, all right? And you know how you know they're mocking is because when Elvis died, he died on the toilet, and the toilet is a throne. That's what they say. A man's toilet is his throne. It's complete mockery of God. And what was Elvis reading when he died? He was reading a book called A Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus. So Elvis, who's known as the King, that's what his name was, his nickname, as the King of Rock. He was known as the King, dies on the throne, the toilet, and he's reading a book about the scientific search for the face of Jesus. You see how they mock? You understand? All right? Now, give me a second here. And of course, Washington, that Martin Luther King, because the Seattle is probably going to be the ground zero for this event. I'll explain that maybe later in the video. But Seattle's King County, in Washington State, is named after Martin Luther King now. So King County, where Seattle is in King County, in Washington State is named after Martin Luther King now. And where did Martin Luther King die? In Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived and died. You see what I mean? So the king had the king whacked. Get it? And now it's named after the King County in Washington State. Okay? So it's all connected. That's what I'm trying to tell you, to Elvis. You know? Now, just to show you how my channel name, especially my first channel name was called Jurassic Liars, which was named after Jurassic Park. That's what I named it after, right? When was Jurassic Park released?
Jurassic Park was released in the United States on June 11th, 1993.
You see that?
It premiered in Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. We're talking about Washington State. But you see that? June 11th was Jurassic Park. But I named my channel Jurassic Liars, Named that, I was connecting it to that. But I had no idea that it was released on June 11th. And why am I bringing up this Jurassic thing? Because that's my channel name. Because they're saying that Tupac is the singer from a band frontman from Jurassic 5.
Jurassic 5.
So they're saying that this dude right here is Tupac, this Jurassic 5 singer. And he does look like him, but I'm not saying he's Tupac. But right here, look, here's another one. Let's see if we can put them two together here in a different. Akil MC and Jurassic. Oh man, what am I saying? Tupac Shakur looks like Akil the MC. See? So Tupac's on the left over there. Or whatever, this one over here is Tupac. That's Akil the MC. Okay? So anyway, he's from the band Jurassic, and that's my channel name, right? Do you see how it's connected to me also, which what I was showing you. But anyway, so let's keep going. We're almost done here. Are we still here? I want to make sure we're still good. Is the video still going? Because I told you I have problems with my phone. Are we okay? Good. All right. So I'm almost done, folks. I'm almost done. You're going to see how it, again, connects to everything. I'm almost done. So, Elvis's age when Tupac died. When Tupac was born. Elvis's age when Tupac was born, he was 36. And remember what I told you, 1 through 36 is 666. And Elvis is born on 1/8, and 1 through 8 is 36. Everything's about the 666 with Elvis. Elvis's age was 36 when Tupac was born. Okay, and where did Tupac die? In Nevada, Las Vegas, where Elvis is favorite in Sin City. Las Vegas. And Nevada's the 36th state. And that was where Elvis did, he did like 6 years of concerts there in Sin City. Okay? I've shown all those connections over the years. And do you know that they say that there's two numbers of the beast, is 666 and 616? And why am I showing you that? Because guess when Tupac is born? 616. 616. So, and the prime number for 616 is 4547. And why is that important? Because of Trump being the 4547. Come on, folks. So you're telling me, wait, I have more to show, but so Trump, the 4547 president, right? The 616th prime number is 4547. Tupac's born on 616. And that's the other, 666 connection, All right. And 4547 is connected to the Godfather. And why is that? Because The Godfather won the 45th Oscars and the 47th Oscars. You see that? And Trump, what do they call The Godfather? They call them, you know, The Godfather was known as the Donald. You understand? Right? The Donald, the Don. And Vito is what they would call every Don. Vito Corleone. Vito is the word twin. Get it? Trump is the replacement twin for Elvis's identical twin that died at birth. And look at that. Godfather equals 8428. You see that? See that? How perfect that is? And Trump's going to get his head wound on 8-4. You see? The Donald, the Don, Godfather. And you're telling me that the Godfather, that it was the 45th and 47th? You see what I'm saying? 45th and 47th. And that's Tupac's birthday prime number. You see what I mean? And that's where he died, in 36th state. Elvis's age was 36 when Tupac was born. Okay. And now let's look at from Trump's birthday, because we're talking about Trump right now with Tupac. From Trump's birthday to Tupac's death is 86 days. And what does 86 mean? To get rid of something, right? To nix it. Get rid of it. 86. Okay? And Trump's birthday, 6/14, is 6 times 14 is 84. Because, as I told you, Trump's going to get his head wound on 8-4. And guess, from Tupac's birthday to his death, 84 days. Okay? Now do you understand? There's no possible way these are coincidences that I just showed you. Okay? So from Tupac's birth to his death was 84 days in between. All right? Folks, I've been predicting these predictions since 2016. I mean, the dates didn't come until late 2017, but I've been talking about Trump getting his head wound and Washington State being struck, okay, since 2016. But the dates didn't come around of June 11th and August 4th till late 2017, early 2018. Okay. Anyway, so the last thing I'm going to show, all right, is this. This is the last thing. Yeah, Danny DeVito, right? Mm-hmm. In the movie Twins, that's right. And like the Vito Corleone. Hold on. Who is Duane Keith Davis? Hold on.
According to en.wikipedia.org, in the USA Network documentary Unsolved, broadcast in 2018, Duane Keith D. Davis, a Crips gang leader in California and Anderson's uncle, claimed to have been in the car, specifically in the front passenger seat, with Tupac's murderer when the shots were fired. He declined to name the shooter, citing, quote, street code.
Yeah, I know, but they're blaming him as the actual killer. Watch. Is Duane Davis the killer of Tupac? Now they're saying no. Can you believe this? Hold on. Is Duane Davis part of the murder of Tupac? These people are just unbelievable.
Yes, Duane Keith D. Davis is the only person arrested and charged with Tupac Shakur's murder. Prosecutors claim he orchestrated the 1996 shooting in retaliation for an assault on his nephew.
Okay, and his nephew was named Anderson, right? I think so. Or somebody was connected, was Anderson, who had the son in his name. Because, Jesus was known as the Son of Man. That's why I was telling you guys to look for the man or son in their codes. Because it's always about mocking God. But now why? Why am I bringing this up? And by the way, he was born in Compton, California, this Duane Davis, who's got the DD, the 44, the kill number. 44 equals kill. It also equals anti. Anti equals 44. Same as the word kill. exactly the same, the numbers. Anyway, so Duane Davis, the supposed killer of Tupac, or the who hired someone to kill him. Listen to when he's born. When was convicted felon Duane Keith Davis born? Hold on. When was Tupac's killer Duane Davis born?
Duane Keith D. Davis's birth date isn't
They're saying it's not available. Can you believe this? I've only seen it 100 times. Hold on. When was rapper Kef D. Duane Davis born? You stupid piece of. Hold on, folks. Doesn't know what I'm saying. Look, it's my last thing I'm going to show, and I can't. Here it is. These people are unbelievable. Look at this. Now, look, it's been saying this for all this time that he was born on June 14th, which is Trump's birthday. Okay? That's Trump's birthday, June 14th. But now they're saying these people are just unbelievable. Now it's saying he's born on June 20th. Look at this. Never believe AI, okay? The AI stuff. See over here, there's another one right here. See? June 14th. This is two different articles that say June 14th. AI is saying something different. Don't listen to them, okay? Here's another one. There's a third one now that says June 14th. Okay? All right, so I'm just telling you, there's 4 different articles saying June 14th. So the killer of Tupac, I mean, the guy who hired the killer or whatever, the only one charged for the murder is a guy who was born on Trump's birthday. Okay? Is that not enough? Anyone who got in late, you got to watch from the beginning, okay? Anyway, make sure there was a few more things with Tupac. I can't remember now. I can't remember. But anyway, if you got in late, make sure you watch from the beginning, all right? Because I'm laying the groundwork, the foundation for the Tupac Tupelo connections. So make sure you comment under this video, when it gets processed, or as soon as you can do it. Comment under the video. Tell me what you thought of the video or what you found interesting in the video. And also thumb up the video, okay? You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for the algorithms, okay? And if you're new to the channel, make sure you go to the live section of this channel and watch the last 4 or 5 months of my videos under the live section, okay? Make sure you watch the last 5 months of videos, starting from this video, I'm saying, all right? And you can skip over the Charlie Kirk videos if you want. There's 7 of those videos. But watch all my prediction videos having to do with Washington State, June 11th, B-side of the Sea event, and August 4th, Trump headwind in Ohio, and anything to do with Elvis and Trump. All right? End of video. Jesus is God.